Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Rewind here on Nerd to Know Media, streaming to you on Nerd to Know Media, the front page, also Phoenix 92.5 FM, and the True Penny channel. My name is Darragh O'Connor. Very welcome to have you guys here with us today, because again, I didn't think we were going to do a show. I was on the bus home, and Martin was like, you have to watch Greed. I'm like, okay. I said, if I get to watch Greed, we'll do the show. So again, guys, if this is your first time checking this out, please go over to Nerd to Know Media. All the links are there for everything we do. You can find them right here on the front page. It's super easy to find. We do a rake of shows. Please do go over and check them out. My name is Darragh O'Connor, as I said, and I'm not alone. I am joined by the one, the only, the undisputed, undefeated Mr. Martin Hardy. Martin, how are you, sir?
Well, we got. Let me try that again.
Try it again.
We're live, pal. What?
We are live. We're live
I
on
had
Twitch,
you there
YouTube,
for a
etc.
second. Yeah, we're all good, man. I'm flying. Listen, I just watched Greed.
Yes.
No, I didn't. I watched Greed yesterday, which I can't wait to talk about. I just watched Dynamite, which I can't wait to talk about. The point is that
you have a lot to talk about.
Wrestling's bloody great, isn't it?
So this week is kind of wild, right? So we're gonna basically, for anyone who's checking the show out first, we do this show for Phoenix FM. We also do it as a podcast and a live show as well on YouTube and Twitch. So usually we go about 55 minutes, but you know, we'll probably go a little bit over that. And obviously we talk about the news of the week, but the show mainly is a time machine. We go back and look at the wrestling from the past. Funny thing that you mentioned it. Do you know what today was in history?
What was today?
So on Raw 20th of August 2002 was Trish Stratus versus Stacey Keibler in a bra and panties mud match.
Okay. Are you able to pause the podcast for 12 to 18 minutes?
It wasn't that long. It wasn't a long match.
I meant for me, but never mind. Never mind.
It wasn't a good match, sir. You will be disappointed.
Are you also aware that Greed took place on the 18th of March?
Yes, one day after St. Patrick's Day. It's how they opened.
One day after St. Patrick's Day, and one day in pursuit, or in, I don't know what the word for present is, but one day in present of Martin Hardy's birthday.
Your birthday's on the 18th of March?
18th of March, sir.
No, what's crazy, right? So Gary, who used to do the desk, so on the wrestling podcast, his birthday's also the 18th of March. What's with it with wrestling fans and my co-host having the same birthday? It's wild. Don't know what's up.
I don't think it's fair to say that we killed WCW, but I mean it's not a good look either, is it? You know?
Absolutely not.
Like if your birthday, even if you had nothing to do with it, but if your birthday was the same date as like the first day of the Holocaust, you'd be like, maybe I won't celebrate it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Birthdays are
So
strange.
maybe you didn't want to talk about that.
No, maybe not. Anyway, yikes. Okay, let's move on to.
Ian talk yikes.
Let's move on to the talking points here that we have to kind of get to, right? So this week, why we said we are going to get to WCW GREED, as we said, we have it here. I can't wait to talk about it, but
can't wait.
But we do have to wait because this man, CM Punk, is being ridiculous. So the wrestling world at the moment is.
Well, is he being ridiculous?
1 second.
Or is he being CM Punk?
1 second. So hold on, 1 second, right? So I want to give some backstory here. So not everybody that watches AEW, right? So, again, you didn't even know this happened until I said, "Have you watched AEW?"
I didn't. Literally, no. Yeah. And to be fair to our listeners, yeah, it was I'll say a slightly narky text from our friend Dara to let me know, because he knows I'm a big Punk fan and he knows I'm a big AEW fan, and he sat there thinking to himself, I know how I can ruin this prick's day.
I enjoy. I'm not gonna lie to you, I enjoyed it a little bit. But
you did, I did.
I really did. I was like, this is hilarious.
It's a testament to how much I love you. That I still love you.
That's fair. I appreciate it, man. You know the love is there, but I am going to have some fun.
Go on.
Right, so
got my hero.
He did it to himself. Right, so what happened was, for anyone who doesn't know, CM Punk came out on Dynamite and cut a promo, right? And so obviously he's not feuding with this man, he's feuding with Moxley, and they're gonna have their title unification match next week, right? He called out Hangman Page randomly, right? Now, Hangman wasn't there, apparently. He just wasn't. And this apparently all goes back to the feud they had at All Out, or Double or Nothing. Was it Double or Nothing? It was Double or Nothing. And he was upset about it, right? And this led on to a litany of other incidents that Punk has had over the past couple of weeks. So, you know, it goes on and on and on, right? So here's apparently what some of the stuff that's been happening. Punk holds a grudge. He really does. But the backstage news here was that Tony Khan met with Punk before Dynamite, and it's a breaking story. The Torch, we're talking about it. I think Wade Keller as well. Wade Keller from The Torch obviously was talking about it. There was another website which I can't remember. this is coming from the Wrestling Headlines, from what's this website here as well? Wrestling Inc. What Culture? It's pretty much everywhere, right? So apparently there was even rumors that Punk wasn't going to show on this week's Dynamite. He was that upset. Now, so let's see. In an update, it was from Fightful, right? So, quote, in an update on this, Fightful Select last night reported how Punk was often verbally expressed his displeasure about things during his AEW run. There was one recent example that had someone AEW thinking the Straight Edge Superstar may end up quitting the company. Okay, so a lot of this is coming from Fightful Select. He went off script and it has been described as going into business for himself. Now,
what part of Punk's AEW run, which has done literally nothing but like deify him, what part of his run do you think you would be like unhappy with?
See, that's the thing, and that's the root of the issue for me, right? Now we've made jokes at Walmart greeter Phil, and you know.
You've made jokes.
I've made jokes.
I kind of liked Babyface Phil because I thought it was cool because, like, I mean, in terms of, so you can look at wrestling in two ways. You can look at it as it is right now, or you can look at it in a whole as like the entirety of what it's been. And yeah, you can look at CM Punk coming out and being like, "Hey, I'm so happy to be here," blah blah blah. Or you can go, "Hey, it's CM Punk who has been the anti-voice of wrestling for like 8 years, except we haven't even seen. He's been such an anti-voice, we haven't even seen him. He's been a no voice, and then he's come out here. So, like, I know you've been slightly questioning of the Walmart greeter film. I've been a big fan of it, but I think that this is all the sort of backstage stories and shoot stories and all that aside. I think this is the start of a heel turn.
I don't know. I mean, the thing about it is, it's like, why? That's the thing. It's like, why? Like, no part of the whole thing about Punk in AEW, it's so confusing because he was the voice of the voiceless in WWE. He was antagonist towards this and the other. He's a much better heel than he is a face. He genuinely is. He's not a great face. He never was.
Well, this is why I thought you'd love this.
But
he's like
yeah,
more of a heel than a face.
Yeah, but there's no reason for him to be. It doesn't make any sense. Now, okay, so, Meltzer even came out and said, that this was... And Mike Johnson again came out and said this is 100% a shoot, right? So this isn't an angle. So if it had been a worked angle where Punk was turning heel, fair enough. I would have been like, you know what? It's a cool way to do it. But the fact that it's 100% a shoot and Punk is talking about not showing up to things and he's unhappy, he's talking about leaving. I'm like, you came in, they gave you your belt, and you're upset by it. Now, look, the promo that Hangman that he's upset about, it wasn't even that bad. I mean, it pretty much was like, oh, you're going into business for yourself and you shouldn't be here, etc. Fair enough. I mean, that's called, wrestling. But Punk, it's weird because for me, a lot of his credibility died the minute he stepped into a UFC ring and was showing up for what he was.
No, hold on.
Hold on.
So, no. Before we go on, we need to address this because me and you, as much as I love you, Dara, with all my heart, I love you. If I ever have a child, even if it's a girl, I'll name her Dara.
Fair.
But you are wrong about this UFC thing because UFC is a different sport from pro wrestling.
No,
and it's the same. And I know we've had this argument. It's the same as saying, "Oh my God, CM Punk, you failed at tennis. Now you can't be a wrestler." I know we've had the exact same argument.
No, I want to
regurgitate it because I am a petulant.
No, you're not wrong, right? You're not wrong. The thing about it is the only reason why it rubs me the wrong way is because it's like, okay, look, we've all seen what happened. You can't really claim to be the best here when everyone saw you got battered. Like,
but he got battered in MMA.
I know,
not
I know.
In wrestling,
I know.
It's like you saying somebody got beat at badminton and therefore they can't be a tennis champion.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're, it's a whole package, and then Punk comes out and look, admittedly he has had some very good matches in AEW. But
hold on. What do you mean? Admittedly, he has had some. His entire run in AEW has been gold. But it's been amazing.
But this is what I'm saying. I don't know what he's upset about. Like, what more can Tony Khan give him? Like, because again, this isn't an angle, right? It might turn into one. And to be fair, if Tony Khan has any sense, which he does, he should turn this into an angle and use this to, because I mean, there's so much buzz around it. Now, it's, to be fair, it is mostly negative.
I think it is an angle.
Okay, but here's the thing. What do you make of the same reports that Tony Khan is apparently hard to work with and that he is kind of Vince McMahon-esque? That I've heard that as well, and these kind of happen within the same weeks. There's some cracks happening in AEW.
Well, here's the thing is that I don't know what to make of them. Because I have never in my whole life met Tony Khan.
Fair. Never met Vince McMahon either, though, to be fair.
Never met Vince McMahon either, exactly. Um,
It's
what
just
I do
weird.
know,
It's just
what I
weird that.
do know is that, like for the past 3 years,
Mm,
all of we've heard is stories from wrestlers about how great it is to move the AEW,
mm,
and you have a certain level of freedom and a certain level of interaction and a certain level of creative control of your own character. But here's the thing: I'm not a wrestler,
yeah.
and Tony Khan, as many times as I've emailed him, Tony, you prick,
TK.
he has TK. He has not responded.
Either has Punk. Punk hasn't responded to your comments
Well,
for a match.
Tony hasn't responded because he knows I'm intellectually superior. Punk hasn't responded because he knows I have his number.
Well, you have more of a number than him because you're 1-0 and he's like, what, 1-1 from TKO?
Us Gaelga every hen, every nod.
That's it. Look, it's just a weird timing for this whole thing. I think Punk, people are coming out and he's saying that it just doesn't look good for him. I mean, the thing about it, it's not like.
But hold on, Dara.
Yes.
Like, okay, so you're a wrestling fan, but
Yes.
you're not an AEW fan.
No. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I'm a wrestling fan in general. I don't really care who it's for. With AEW.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. You're an impartial version.
Observer. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, let me ask you this.
Go on.
If you take away all the, which is the same thing that I'm subject to, if you take away all the like insider knowledge, you know, like I think one of the things that ruins wrestling for a lot of wrestling fans is that we know too much about wrestling.
Yeah.
You know? If you take away all the insider knowledge, if you just go and look at this as purely as a storyline, so Punk came out in the ring, Punk faced off with Mox. Mox talked about like the Shield. Punk talked about Punk talked about the Shield. Mox talked about scene and all that. Like, if it wasn't for all this super smarky internet bullshit, would you not be mad into this?
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. I want to be, but then at the same, I think it's just because one, I watched TNA consistently and covered it for 10 years. I grew up on WCW, so you know, the minute they start doing the boys in the back breaking the story and doing the shooty shoots, I get Danger Will Robinson vibes because it's like, oh, I've seen this before. Here we go. And already AEW's on that line where I'm like, oh, it's very WCW like, and not in a good way sometimes.
I don't think so.
But here's why.
Do you genuinely think it's like I know it's funny. It's very WCW, but do you genuinely? And I'm asking you this as someone who I respect, who has a certain level of knowledge of WCW.
Right.
Do you actually think that AEW is on a WCW trajectory?
No, but the caveat is it very easily could be. And the thing about it is, I'm not even quantifying that with WCW per se. TNA is the canary of the coal mine, and you're going to see it, my friend. You're going to see it unfold on this show. You're going to see what I'm talking about. Everyone listening is going to see what I'm talking about.
Just let everybody know, I'm not a TNA expert, but my comrade Dara is a huge TNA fan.
Yes.
And in order to expand my knowledge of TNA, I have signed up to the OSW, which is a different podcast.
Very good
I
podcast.
know we're not supposed to talk about different podcasts, but
we're able to. We're able to. That's the forbidden. There's no forbidden door here.
Because we're not WWE. Yeah. So the forbidden door of OSW. I have just started the OSW arc of TNA, and I'm very excited.
And the TNA is the best. Like for me, when anytime any wrestling company starts up, I'm always like, is going to become like TNA, and there's loads of reasons for why TNA collapsed, or it never really collapsed, but it's still limping on, and it's actually great now. But one of the reasons why it got so bad was because there was no this kind of stuff happened, where the
Dara,
wrestlers took over and ended up,
Dara,
yeah,
Dara,
yes,
listen to me. I understand why you're not sure.
concerned is the word.
No, Dara. I was here when Triple H and Stephanie McMahon came out and told us that things were going to be different. I was here when Seth Rollins hit the Fiend with a toolbox, and that was somehow not cool in a Hell in a Cell match. I'm not as different as you think I am. We engage with wrestling on a level that is cartoonish but also realistic. It's like a symbiotic thing. It's a but
no, I get it. Like,
yeah.
It's just when he's, I suppose how this works out will be my opinion on it. If it goes to a way where, it turns into something where Punk ends up leading a faction, or it's for control of the company, or something, that could be cool. But if it's just Punk throwing toys out of his pram for no reason, I'd be like, you literally have no reason to do that.
But are you not concerned that like, so think back to when all this stuff first happened, right? Are you not concerned that, like, whenever Punk was first doing this stuff, you were like, okay, so yeah, I don't mind if he's doing this, but it's only if it leads to something. Like,
Yeah.
Are you not concerned that Punk is doing Punk things, and you are reacting in a non-Punk way?
It's more like Punk doing Punk things is, to be fair, this was always part of the core. And I want to read this here. Triple H said this 10 years ago, 11 years ago. You'll only accept change if it means CM Punk is on top, because unless CM Punk is not the guy, that's enough for you. And you and me are a lot like Punk. The only difference is I told everybody that I'm going to step on you to get to the top. You don't have the balls to do it. You're a backdoor around. You're trying to be a martyr. And here's the thing. If that's true, Punk is more like Hulk Hogan. And I have heard people say that this is Hulk Hogan WCW moves, which worries me to no end. Because not good. Nick Sergant, as the Germans would say.
Do you believe it to be true?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't believe it to be true.
Like the MJF stuff.
From
the
entirety of everything I've ever known about CM Punk, he does not strike me as an angel. He does not strike me as, and more than he doesn't strike me as an angel, he doesn't strike me as someone who tries to be an angel. He doesn't strike me as someone who tries to be the messiah of wrestling.
Yeah.
He strikes me as a man. So
this is very insecure, though. This is insecurity on a level that isn't warranted. Like Hogan's insecurity in WCW and TNA and WWE.
But this is insecurity.
Is warranted.
No, but this is insecurity based on a report we can't verify. We don't know.
Well, okay, initially.
But hold on.
But the Observer has confirmed it, to be fair.
No, but hold on. Before you say initially, CM Punk is the world heavyweight champion of AEW.
Correct.
Who is he insecure of?
That's what I'm saying. That's why it makes no sense. And I think that's what a lot of fans are feeling frustrated about. I'm like, what else can Punk... Okay, I'll put it this way. Let's say this is all true, right? This is all true.
Okay.
What else can AEW do for CM Punk to make him happy? Genuinely.
Okay. I'm
He's
thinking...
the world champion. I mean, I don't know what else he could be possibly upset about. That's what's so annoying about it. I just don't understand it. It's so... I hope it's not true. I really do. Because that would suck. I mean, I want Punk to be... But Punk's stuff always has to be against something. And in AEW... And this is what I'm saying to you from the beginning. Punk's not against anything in AEW. Because they're giving him everything.
But this is why I've been saying to you that I don't think this is a real issue. That I think this is a work.
Okay.
Because Punk's whole thing is that he has to be against something,
Yes.
you know. And now Punk is against. But like, if you genuinely look back, like, okay, so he had one of the, like, not in the last 10 years, not in the last 15 years, in all of wrestling, in wrestling history, he had one of the greatest returns ever.
Absolutely.
Like, ever. Like, Punk's return on Rampage was insane, right? And then he returned and he beat Adam Page. And he beat whoever else. And he beat all these people and he got the world title. And if you're going to say to me that Punk has an issue backstage, I just I find it hard to believe. Dude's a world champion and everybody loves him.
Yeah. Well, that's where I was coming from. I think we're on the same page there, Martin. Genuinely, because that's where I was coming from. So, again, it's one of the most surprising stories, but we'll leave it there because let's get to the meat of the show here, which is WCW GREED.
I can't wait for
and
this.
these screenshots really do sum up what a show it was. But here, before we get into it, right, I came across this article on What Culture.
Do it.
So this is by a guy called John Bills, and it was written in 2016, right?
Oh, what a prick.
9 things I learned watching WCW GREED, right? So, and I've gone through 1 or 2 of them, and I'm like, okay, this is a good one. So let's kind of go through. I'm gonna like do them in live time here, so you can actually like react to them.
So this is me reacting in real time.
Yeah, okay, so here we go. Right. So, number 9, WCW was no longer a big-time promotion.
Well, that's fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was fair. Like, Kiwi versus, what was your man's name? Jason Jett?
I think you find it's Queewee. Queewee.
And, yeah, neither one of these guys scream main event talent or even top tier talent, you know, so that's fair.
Well, you say that now, but when we talk about GREED, they actually had a very good match.
They had a great match, but his point here is saying that these days of Dean Malenko and Eddie Guerrero opening up the pay-per-view are long gone, which, I mean, we remember those days because we covered them.
Well, Dara,
yes.
If that is what your point is, I have no option but to agree with your point.
Well, it's his point. I'm just, John Bill's point. Right, next one.
Dara.
Yes.
Don't you let John Bill accept control of your opinion. You're a very intelligent man.
Fair.
And you've accepted control of these WCW pay-per-views. And I'm going to say it. I'm going to lay down the law here. If Dara says it's a thing, it's a fucking thing.
Right.
Please edit that out.
It's a live show.
Sorry. If Dara says it's a thing, it's a flipping thing.
Hey, Hamika Toga. Thanks for joining us and thanks for subscribing. We appreciate it. I saw you at Comic-Con. Oh, cheers. Thanks so much. We appreciate it.
Hi, Mika.
Hope you enjoyed the show, Comic-Con and this one.
Dara is our intelligent and friendly friend. I'm our big ignorant flipper from rural Ireland.
So here, the next point here, right? Also, I don't know if you saw Greed, Hamiko. If you did, let us know what you thought. The Cruiserweights carried the show until the end, which we've said from the beginning, Martin. We've said that the WCW Cruiserweight division pretty much was the only good thing, really.
Not only was the only good thing, was the Cruiserweight division was not only the only good thing, it was the last prayer of WCW. The only prayer WCW had of ever being something was in making itself something different, was in making itself something separate from WWF, and they could have done that. They had such an amazing, an insane cruiserweight division. They could have been incredible.
So we have a comment here.
They just didn't.
I don't know much about wrestling and all. Ah, that's okay. On the channel, we have a lot of stuff about video games and nerd stuff as well. Nerd to Know Basis is the show on Wednesday night. So yeah, check out the podcast. Fridays and Saturdays is usually when we do the wrestling stuff. But thanks so much for your comments. We really appreciate it. There's tons of content on the YouTube channel as well that isn't wrestling. But thanks so much. Martin, I agree with you. You're 100% correct there. You really are. The next one. The Magnificent Seven were a strange stable. Yeah, they were. So this was Scott Steiner, Lex Luger, Buff Bagwell, Jeff Jarrett, and Road Warrior Animal. Yeah, I flicked over this completely. Cool, I'll check it out. Yeah, no, please do. Thanks so much for stopping in.
But who are you talking to?
Amico's leaving comments on the channel.
Amico.
Yeah.
Hello, Amico. How are you? How's things?
Okay.
Amico, who's your favorite wrestler?
They said they don't know much about wrestling, unfortunately.
All right, Amico, fuck off. So, yes, I've the whole time we've been doing this WCW tour, I've been aware of all of these fucking nonsense skits that these WCW personalities have been doing in the backstage. It's been like, I mean, when it's not part of the actual story, it's like kind of confusing. But when it's just something that they're doing for no reason, it's bloody insulting. So they're sitting here and they're talking like we're talking about these WCW superstars who are doing. I don't like using the word superstars, but they're doing this like Gangrel stuff or this Undertaker stuff, and it's so bloody stupid. I just want to punch them goddamn face. But that is not convivial to my good friend Dara, who runs a wonderful wrestling podcast.
So Martin, our friend Hamiko here said, I like man like the rest. He's from Birmingham, so that must be an independent wrestler, and I went to one OTT thing. Yeah, OTT are cool. They're Irish independent wrestling.
OTT are amazing. But we're actually very lucky in Ireland in that OTT aren't like a local organization we can be involved with. OTT are actually like internationally, they're a tremendous organization.
Absolutely.
OTT are one of the links of international wrestling, and we should be very proud of them.
Absolutely. Another thing here, number 6, Sean Stasiak was terrible. Yes. We've said
Sean
that from we've said that
Sean
from the beginning.
Stasiak was terrible, but
He adds Stacy Keibler looked great though, which
I was just about to say the Stacey Keebler looked great.
Yeah. But
And no, I don't want to blow over this. So Sean Stasiak was terrible. Stacey Keebler looked great, and I just want anybody who's out there sitting to look at their clump of dried leaves and flint and say, "Hey, would you rather that in this moment where we are lost in the middle of the woods that we have Sean Stasiak or Stacey Keebler?" And I think that would answer all problems.
fair. Number 5, Buff Bagwell was in WCW a long time.
He was
Since 1991. Number 4, WCW was finally punishing old guys. Yes, finally they understood what was going wrong, because, as we said at one point, the old guys, to use John's words here, they were the good guys. They were the faces. What's it? Number 3, Sean O'Haire could have been special. Sean O'Haire was good. WWE also dropped the ball with him. But now he's an MMA guy, apparently. And then, he was an MMA, and then he killed himself, unfortunately.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa!
What?
Okay, I can't do anything about the kill himself stuff, because what I can say is that Sean O'Haire was one of the many, I mean, there's about 24 WCW wrestlers. Sean O'Haire was one of the many WCW wrestlers who was fucked over by WWE.
Yes.
Fucked over.
Absolutely.
And not fucked over. I'm sorry, Dara. Are we on the? Dude, it doesn't matter. I'm going to swear on you. I'm sorry, Dara. I apologize.
That's okay.
But not fucked over in terms of the it's funny, be fucked over. They can be part of our song, or they can be part of our story. No. Whenever the contracts ended, there were a lot of wrestlers who were fucked over by WWF.
Speaking of which, late WCW was the same as early TNA. Basically, that's very true. It had a mixture of washed up talent and new guys who are completely incredible. And yeah, it's crazy. It shows where this is kind of like that crossover point where WCW was starting to fade away, and out of its ashes, really TNA kind of just were like, right, we're going to pick this up again. So,
were those WWF guys who agreed, who were they the new TNA?
Pretty much. The last point here, right? The World Championship Wrestling was dead. Well, see, that's what we wanted to say. So overall, the show itself, I mean, Martin, we enjoyed it. We were talking about this beforehand. So the show here, to go down to the card, really quick to run it down. It opened up with the cruise with that Jason Jett defeating Kiwi. And then there was a tag team invitational.
But not only defeating them, it was like a
good 13-minute match.
Yeah, it was like a indicator. In fact, the whole pay-per-view was an indicator of what was supposed to come, except it never came.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. What's it? And then Eli, so the best match of the night, I think, if you're only going to watch one match from this, it's this one. It's the Eli Skipper, Elix Skipper, Kid Romeo defeated Billy Kidman and Rey Mysterio. The best match on the card by a country mile, right?
Brilliant.
Surprise Bam Bam. I'm just going to run through this real quickly, and then we'll talk about it. Surprise Bam Bam appearance, which was weird. And then it ended with a very, very good main event for the title. But Martin, is there any main points you want to? Hold on. Who's that WWE guy who wears gold and sings his own intro? Do you know? That's a question we got in the chat. Who's that WWE guy who wears
Hulk
gold?
Hogan? I think it's Hulk Hogan.
Or it could be Shawn Michaels.
No, because definitely not Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, he's. Oh wait, no, it would be Shawn Michaels. Kurt Angle, maybe? No.
Oh,
I don't know. I'm gonna we'll look into that for you, Himiko. That's a good question. Anyway,
well, I'll tell you, I'm almost certain that it's Hulk Hogan.
Did he sing his own intro though?
No, he didn't sing his own intro.
So that's what I have to. You have to wear gold and sing your own intro.
Well, but you have to wear gold
Yeah.
to sing your own intro?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw him on Raw like 5 years ago. Can't remember anything else. So 5 years ago.
If you have to wear gold and sing your own intro, I think it might be Funaki.
No, he wasn't on Raw. Could be Cena. Maybe John Cena.
Ah, come on, Funaki.
No, Funaki didn't sing his own intro.
Well, I have much more respect for Funaki than I have for Cena.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with John Cena because I think, that's probably the case of it. But, right, Martin, comments on this, your overall view of this pay-per-view. The floor is yours.
Okay, so it's the pay-per-view and not the story.
Yeah, pay-per-view.
Okay, so my overall view on Greed is heartbreaking. I think Greed was, if you examine it as just a single story, it was 2.5 hours of very good wrestling mixed with very good storytelling by very good people who wanted to go home.
Okay.
If you actually look at this story, look at this wrestling pay-per-view, it was a tremendous event by people who knew that their industry was dying, that their company was, and I apologize, Dara, their company was fucked, and that they still went out there and they did the goddamn best that they had, and they, particularly with the cruiserweights, they killed themselves to make sure that the very last memory we have of WCW, not even that it was good, not even that it was great, but these people killed themselves to make sure that the very last memory of WCW we had was that it wasn't bad.
So in 2018, 411 Mania gave it a rating of 7. And here's his quote, right? Kevin Padtoga, if I hope I said that correctly. Quote, I ended up liking this pay-per-view way more than I expected. There's several good matches, including the opener and the main event. The CW Cruiserweight tag team match was easily the last great WCW match. That is true. That is very true. It's interesting to see how well most of this will book. WCW was clearly heading for something better in 2001. The tag team title squash worked wonderfully, which it did. The Dusty tag match was entertaining, and I dug their Cruiserweight title match. A good show with some high quality booking decisions. Now that's a very, very good point. That's a very, very good point. I also really enjoyed Canyon on the show. We love Canyon. I really enjoyed his match with Ernest Miller. I think if WCW had kept going, we would have seen more shows like this. I think the days of total nonsense were done for the most part, but it was a little too late at this point. I think, Martin. I think we unfortunately wouldn't see another show from WCW on a pay-per-view. Our next show that we're going to do in our WCW timeline, the final one's going to be the final Nitro, and it wasn't as good as this. You know, rather than going through this match by match to kind of finish up.
Do you think we should go instead of the final Nitro? Should we do and I'm only saying this because that many of the last pay-per-views have been subject to it. Do you think we should do a double episode, the final Thunder and the final Nitro?
We can do that, yeah. We could actually absolutely watch the last Thunder and the last Nitro. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. Because yeah,
right.
And you know, here's another indicator on this show, right? So we commented on it that any time an abundance of Thunder shows would make up the main storylines, the pay-per-view was always terrible. This show had a mix where Nitro and Thunder were working together to tell an overarching story, which made everything seem good. And this is a case where that happened. Like WCW, while it was going down the tubes, they were still trying to hang on because they didn't know it was going down the tubes. And remember, what killed WCW wasn't that they didn't want to do it anymore. It was that the network were like, we don't want wrestling. So, I mean, actually, I think Goldust might be the one you're thinking about, Himiko, because they didn't sing his theme music, but he does wear gold, and he was on this show as Dustin Rhodes. So, you know, Goldust was on the show, but not really. It's funny as well. Ric Flair was teaming with Jeff Jarrett. Isn't it funny that, you know, 22 years later they'd get the band back together for the last match. So look, you know, I when I saw that article from What Culture, I think that was a much better way of then going match to match, because it really summed up my thoughts on this. I didn't even think it was going to do it, but I mean, when you're watching it, it hits you over the head where it's like there's so much good here, but it also really was dead in the water at this point as well. Like there's nothing they could do, and it eventually became TNA. 2 years later, you know, you have the first, well, actually a year later, and then you'd have the 2003 when TNA really started get going. But Martin, I'm gonna before we finish up here, match of the night on this, biggest missed opportunity for you, and where you think they should have went with this if they had one more pay-per-view.
Well, so match of the night for me is DDP.
Okay.
And it actually doesn't matter who he fought. DDP took this dying promotion and he made an incredible pay-per-view out of it. And DDP is very much the Bret Hart, because he took any promotion and he could have made an incredible gripping feud and compelling narrative out of it. Beyond Bret Hart, I mean, all I would say is Batista.
Batista wouldn't show for another 2 years, but still, I like the forward head booking. Biggest miss.
But that's why I said Batista. Dara.
I
am a visionary.
You are. Biggest missed opportunity of the night. Biggest missed opportunity tonight, Martin.
Yeah.
Which do you think it was on the match? What were you let down by?
In terms of
the match, which match did you not think lived up to it? I thought all of them were pretty good, to be fair. The tag teams match was a squash, but to be fair, I didn't really want to see totally buffed in another classic, so I'm kind of glad they got beaten as quickly as they did.
There was so the World Championship match between DDP. DDP was an incredible and a genuinely brilliant wrestler. And it's so weird. He was one of the guys they would never ever let have a clean win, like a clean finish over whoever the champion was. And I always thought one of the one of the major downfalls of WCW was that they had this incredible champion in DDP, and they never acknowledged him.
No, they didn't. They really didn't. And actually, we got a chat here. Himiko says there was a Scooby-Doo WWE thing. Yeah, there was. There was 2 WWE things, I think, wasn't there? There was one with CM Punk, actually. I think there was another one.
Who's this?
In the chat here, we have a question. Was there a Scooby-Doo WWE thing? I think there was 2.
There was a Scooby-Doo WWE thing. It was called Scooby-Doo WWE.
And then there was a Flintstone one with CM Punk was the main character.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was very strange because
I liked it though. I thought that was good.
No, I actually saw this, and CM Punk was one of the characters, and it turned out that the person who was being the ghost actually owned the circus.
No way.
It was an old defunct circus, and then whenever everybody came down and said, "Oh, it turns out it was just my brother who owned the circus," CM Punk shot him in the head, like murdered him, like killed him in the back of the head.
Did that happen?
Yeah.
Oh well, I haven't seen the Scooby-Doo thing, so I am taking Martin's word on it.
Well, this is like, I know me and you are young fellas, so Scooby-Doo means something different to us, but Scooby-Doo nowadays is about violent murder.
There you go. Okay, well, look, we're gonna leave it there, folks. For this week, again, thank you so much for joining us. We really do appreciate it. Himiko, thank you so much. Thank you for checking out the channel and for your comments. We really do appreciate it. Again, for anyone, if this is your first show, Nerd to Know Media, we have shows on everything. Comics, video games, you name it, it's there. We do this show every Friday normally, and we stream it as well. Martin, is there anything you want to plug before we wrap up?
Yes.
Yes.
If you have the N64 Switch version, you can get Wave Race, which is a jet ski. I don't know if you haven't played it before, it's amazing. If you have played it before, it's a big old part of your childhood. So you should go and download that and have a big old smile. And also, Dara is a very handsome man.
Appreciate it. Really do. Folks, again, Nerd to Know Media, the True Penny Channel, Phoenix 92.5 FM, and of course, thewrestlingrewind.com. We will see you next week, where we're going to be looking at the last ever episode of Thunder and WCW Nitro. And then we're doing our palate cleanser, which is going to be on the WWE Network. They have the whole run of the Ministry of Darkness, Martin. So we're going to be looking at that as our palate cleanser. So folks, you do not want to miss that. We will talk to you next week here on Nerd to Know Media, the True Penny Channel, and of course, the Wrestling Rewind. Bye, guys.
And talk raw.